This episode of the Golf Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented to you by Shady Rays. Go to shadyrays.com and use promo code SGPN for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. And of course, we're also brought to you by our own tailor-made 2 stealth giveaway. Listen, all you gotta do is head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/driver to enter today before the big drawing on April 8th. And we're also brought to you by Baseball Money is Fake, our fantasy baseball podcast. Join Blake and Ryan 3 times a week to get all the player breakdowns and statistical data you need to dominate. All right, welcome back, D-Gens. It's the Masters week, baby. Let's go. It's DFS. We got our boy Ryan Baroff on and the god of golf himself, Steve Shermer. Ryan, I know you're pumped for this week, man. You ready?
Yes, sir. Masters. It feels like it's been, 8 months since a major? Let's go, man. Let's go.
I mean, the PGA Tour will probably take exception to that because of the Players' Championship. They're always trying to make that the fifth major. But yes, it definitely feels like we talked about this last night. How I have a little more excitement. I think more than I felt that so far this year because we got the live guys coming back. We haven't seen them since the Open Championship with the the regular PGA Tour stars. It'll be very interesting to see how it goes this week. So we talked a little bit last night about kind of what our expectations are for the live guys. But for DFS though, I mean, I think for outrights, I think the general consensus these guys probably don't really have much of a shot. But for DFS though, probably you're going to get a little bit of leverage on some of these guys. So I guess how do you feel about that? Are you going to see yourself probably using a few live guys if the opportunity strikes?
Yes. I mean, I don't think it's going to be Brooks necessarily, just because he's sort of getting the steam here from the win. But I mean, there's a couple, I mean, I think we can start with Dustin Johnson, just, a guy who obviously plays this course very well. And I think he's probably the most glaring underprice of all the live guys. I think everyone came in about where I thought they'd be, except he's, $600, $700, $800 cheaper than I would have expected. So he'd be the one that I'm looking at. And then I think Mito, I bet him last week. He was close. He was playing pretty well. And just seems also like he's the one guy who's probably not going to be too highly owned and in a fairly nice price range there with not a lot of good options around him.
So I mean, he's a debutante, right? He hasn't played here before. So I don't know. Like I think DJ, especially, I think his outright number's fucking silly too. If you think about it, like 28-1, fucking, it's going to drift past 30.
Yeah,
it'll be hard not to pull the trigger on that. But I mean, you poo-pooed the lineup I sent you last night. I had 2 live players in it. But we can get to those dumpster dives in a little bit. But they got good course history. But the problem is I have no idea what the fuck they're doing. I know Schwartzel's actually playing well on live. Kevin Na is not. But they certainly leave for flexibility to be able to stuff 2 10K guys in if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you can just see like overall what these guys have been doing on live. Like, I mean, just like, Mito, I agree. Mito's been playing very well, not just on live, but, the Saudi International played very well. I think he played the Dunlop Phoenix Open back in December. It's just the issue of, all these PGA Tour guys, they play a lot of tougher golf courses, a little better competition. These guys, I mean, Dustin Johnson's played 9 competitive rounds this year. Cam Smith's played about 14 competitive rounds. So, it's going to come down to basically, all right, is it a little bit of muscle memory coming back to Augusta, a place they know very well? Or is it going to be a little bit, get a bucket of cold water thrown on them? So we'll see. And speaking of cold water, exactly. We got a lot of cold water, I think, in the forecast. So, I went on a little, a little rant last night about the weather, how it impacts different things about Augusta National. And obviously weather is a big factor with putting together your DFS lineup. So, I mean, right now it seems like this is a giant mess as far as how things are going to go every single day between, threat of thunderstorms. Saturday looks like a washout. Do you have any initial thoughts about the weather? Are you going to try maybe stack, or at this point, just based on the threat of the thunderstorms, you're kind of just let caution to the wind and see what happens?
You want to take that one, Capper?
No, we're asking you, man. I had my thoughts already.
So I think the first thing I'll say, right, is I don't make any decisions this early in the week, right? Even if we had a forecast that was, a little bit more predictable, I think, there's a lot of time that can go by.
Yep.
What I will say is when the weather gets bad here, number one, I think it just adds more for the guys who hit it a long way, right? I'm going to sort of bump distance a little bit more. Easier to hit fairways. The ball's going to stick on the greens, right? Probably going to be a lot more birdies like we saw when Dustin Johnson won here. I think I'm also going to weigh on course experience a little more, not necessarily course history, but just the guys that have played this course a lot in a lot of different conditions.
Okay.
Now, I don't have everything up in front of me now, but I think back in 16 and 17 were really the last couple of years where it was wet and the weather wasn't good. We had wind last year, obviously, but I'll look back at 16 and 17 a little bit.
Okay.
I think the only thing that I'll say there is, there's a lot of guys who are just a lot better back then. Like, yeah, Rose and Jason Day were great back then. Well, like, yeah, they were like numbers 1 and 2 in the world back then. So you got to be careful there. But I think guys who played this course a lot will have an advantage if it gets difficult.
Do you see that video Rose released today? Breaking down his greens book?
I got through like 20 seconds of it, and I was like, I'm not doing this. He started to aim point like on the video.
On the video,
like,
that's what I was going to say.
Out,
He's like,
it's
3 fingers. Oh, so I need to start at 6 feet out to the right. I'm like, dude, listen.
I'm out. Yeah.
So I like Rose this week. I like Rose a lot this week.
I think he's going to catch some steam. Like I don't hate him either. But if he's going to be, 12, 15%, I just feel like, there's a lot of other guys there who I like as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, looking at initial ownership, it seems like a lot, like, especially I think everything above like $8,000 or so, pretty spread out. Seems like any leverage plays you're going to do is under, 8,000 this week. So, so the first half of the show might just be about just kind of picking about who you like. And then, maybe we'll go into a little bit of pivot plays, a little later in the show once we get a little cheaper pricing. So why don't we take our first break and then why don't we go right to the top and break down the big three?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we're also brought to you guys by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is a great place to get down on fantasy and player props all year long. Underdog Fantasy has your favorite NBA, NHL, and MLB daily games. Plus, they're already doing best ball drafts for the 2023 NFL season. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com and use promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Yeah, we can also talk about like what we think like the most common construction is going to be, right? I mean, is it just going to go 10-9 or do you think people are going to try to jam 2 10K guys in? Like, I bet you it goes like Rory, Spieth, and then pick your poison in the 8s. And like, I bet you like under 7,400 probably doesn't get touched in a lot of lineups, especially.
Yeah, I don't think so. There's not any really inexpensive free squares. Like, I mean, usually there's a guy at like 6,800, right? Yep. Who everybody flocks to. And I think probably this week it's going to be Corey Connors, obviously, but he's in the mid 7. Like, yes, he's a free square, but like I don't think many lineups are going to drop below 7 though. Yeah,
I would agree with that. And it's so funny, man. Like last year, I think I learned my lesson, like just trying to get cute for the sake of fucking being cute and putting guys in. Like the chalk hits here like constantly. Like it always does well here. Like you have to make different somewhere else, but like don't not play Corey Connors just because he's high up, because he's a top 10 machine here. Like it's fucking insane. Like for
he also might have won last week, so
yeah, he might actually have done that. Like it was funny. I looked at the ownership projections and I was like, there's no way he's gonna be this low. He's still sitting at like 15%. I was like, this guy's gonna be 25% plus all day.
No, yeah, I mean in the big mega milli maker stuff, like the high stakes, he may push 45, honestly. Like I would not be surprised.
Yeah. What do you think about so all right, so so for the high stakes stuff with the big 3, you think it's going to be spread out pretty even? Or you think it's going to go to one guy?
Yeah, and I think it normally follows the trends of sort of how they're playing. Like, not that that's the be all end all, but like you see these ebbs and flows with guys. Like right now, Rahm is down a little bit, right? Just he had to withdraw from players, didn't play so well last time out. So I think he's going to be the lowest, probably by a fairly significant margin. Yeah. And I think again, the high stakes players tend to gravitate towards Rory. It's just the way that they go, and he's $500 cheaper than Scotty Scheffler. So I'm going to say Rory 1, Scheffler 2, gap, Rahm 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who do you like up here? Like, so
I like them all. I mean, I don't know what. I mean, there's really no holes you can poke in them other than for Scotty Scheffler. I think he's got the letdown factor after last year. Got a lot more responsibilities this year with the Champions Dinner, a lot more fanfare. And, historically, the defending champions have not done very well here. So I think, if I'm just nitpicking, he's going to be out there. My only bet so far is Rom. And I think I'm going to stick with that. I think we talked about this last time, but, I would be shocked if Rom ended his career with 0 Masters. And I would not be shocked if Rory had 0 Masters. So I'm leaning Rom a little bit over Rory right now.
Yeah, Rory's terrifying to me, especially watch. Like he just is. I don't like Rory. Like I only bet him when it's like a slap me in the face scenario. Like I try to avoid him. Like he backdoors. Like he's never really been in contention since what was like almost like 10 years. Like I know he has like a couple top fives and things like that, but he's never really been in the mix. It's tough to play armchair psychiatrist, but I mean the pressure clearly gets to him. You can see it even at the Open last year. Like he was talking the night before about how much it would mean to him, and he went out and laid a complete fucking egg. He let Cam Young fucking pass him on the leaderboard. But that driver, man, it was so scary at match play. Yep. So scary. I'm like, I don't know. And Rom, like you're right. Rom is he's not getting talked about, but people are talking about him like, well, he's not getting talked about. And everybody's like, hey, I'm just going to go to Rory and Scotty. And so the only thing that concerns me about Rom is something that I picked up right before API is that his misses with his driver are left. And that's where you don't want to be here. And that's the only thing that scares me about him. Like, whatever, you got the stomach bug at TPC, probably ate some, bad tacos at Taco Lu down here. Man, I don't know. Like, I'm with you. And I said offline why, like, I got deer in the headlights and didn't bet it this morning while I was waiting for a certain piece of information to come out. But, but like, everything, like, I was so dead set. I already knew what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm going to go Rom. And I was like, I'll probably do Xander, and maybe I'll take Rose at 75, like whatever. But now I'm just like, fuck, I have no idea what to do. Plus, I'm having like nightmares about Rory.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, so I think I agree with everything that's been said here. It's really hard to poke holes in any of these guys. I mean, if anything, it's probably the fact that Rob hasn't been very good off the tee. He's had his struggles there. It seems like Scotty hit a little bit of his putter, kind of got a little shaky at match play. I guess that's another nitpick with him. Obviously, the pressure with Rory. I guess my question is, Ryan, do you feel the pressure of having to include one of these big three in lineups? Or I guess, like, is there any world of possibility where you just fade this entire section and just try and go, down below?
I would say, I mean, look, and I'm going to exaggerate here a little bit because I don't feel like doing math, but these guys are making up like 40% of the win equity in this field, right? 40 to 50%. And I think that's accurate, Now the problem is, right, if you pick wrong, your lineup is kind of shit at that point. Right. Mm-hmm. I think the only way that you can get away with it is like if the weather rolls in and it's just a shitstorm and very random, then yeah, like you could see a more balanced, Spieth, Homa, Cantlay type lineup getting there. But one of these guys, if not 2 or 3 of them, will be in the top 6 on Sunday. Like they're just going to be there. So I'll try and get the rest right. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I feel like it's a good way to couch it as far as like the weather goes. Like, listen, if the weather comes in and fucking screws it up, we got a Monday finish. We got guys who don't go off and it screws everything up. Then whatever, anything's in play. But if it plays even close to normal, how aren't at least 2 of these guys in the fucking top 5 and contending on Sunday? Not only that, like just DK points. You know what I mean? Like these guys fucking score. So you're gonna need them.
Okay. I mean, I think we kind of self-explain, everything up here. Why don't we go to the $9,000 range? And Ryan, I want to ask you a question because, I mean, obviously a lot of talent in this range, a lot of really good things about a lot of players. But, I'm looking at my sheet here. I can probably pick, one flaw at least to anybody. So is there any particular player here that you've identified just a flaw that just is like really, really concerning, more so than maybe some other things you see in this range?
Yeah, Patrick Cantlay is gutless in majors.
Yes. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, I'm going to lean a little more on experience, not just in majors, but also here. So I think, again, nitpicking, like guys like Cantlay and Homa who just don't have the track record yet, I'm going to stay away from them probably more than anything. Not necessarily golf related, but, it seems like Cam Smith may have been hurt a little bit. He obviously hasn't been playing that well. I guess, Capper, you may have some more Cam Smith intel, but it just seems like he's not 100%. So I'm probably not going to end up there this week either.
That's the rumor. The rumor is that he did something, and I mean, obviously, we can't even get injury updates on the PGA Tour. Never mind the fucking Live Tour. So
yeah.
So I mean that's just the internet rumors. Who knows? Like,
Yep.
And I'm not gonna pretend like I fucking watched a shit ton of Live to see. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. The thing about, so let me ask you this about Homer, right? So I was on the same page as you as far as like avoiding him because he sucks here. But he's a different golfer now. And then if I'm thinking it's shitty fucking weather, like he plays well in bad, shitty weather. Like, so it's like I'm arguing with myself on if I should play him because I mean, where's he at with ownership? I mean, he can't. He
won't be. I mean, he's gonna still be double digits, but he's not gonna be anything, crazy.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think like when I look at these guys, right? Like all these guys are obviously very good. I think for this course and really for majors in general, you want somebody who's very well rounded. Which again, he's certainly becoming that. But I think more Xander Schauffele than Max Homa here, right?
Yeah.
Like he hits it a little bit further, a little bit straighter. I trust his short game a little bit more. Like, yes, Homa, he's won and he makes a lot of putts, but if he's standing over an 8-footer for par, I don't trust him the same way that I trust a lot of these other guys.
No, that's fair. And I listen, I love Xander. Like I'm waiting for the number to drift a little more. You know what I mean? Like whatever. Like if it moves from 25 to 22 and I don't get the 28 that I'm hoping for, I don't give a shit. I'm still gonna bet it. Like I love it because Xander at match play looked good. Like he looked like he had it, and Rory bested him on 18. He actually made a putt, and I like Xander a lot this week. Do you think he's going to be who do you think is going to be end up being the highest owned in the 9K other than Spieth? Spieth doesn't count. He's clearly uber jump.
I feel like nobody's going to talk about it, and then it's going to be Colin Morikawa.
Okay.
I feel like it should be Patrick Cantlay, but I feel like it's going to be Colin Morikawa.
Okay. So with the bad weather narrative, Steve, we know that we avoid Morikawa in bad weather. What about JT? What is he? Is he the house cat or the fucking alley cat? Because he fucking melted down that one year when he got rained on and completely made a mess of whatever fucking hole that was at the Masters. But he's been playing well in really shitty fucking weather. I don't know what to do with JT.
Yeah, I mean, so I looked a little bit in the stats today as far as what's been really going on with him. I mean, we've kind of talked a little bit about his iron game hasn't been all that sharp. Where it hasn't really been sharp is with his mid to long iron. So the last couple of years or so, he's been one of the leaders in that category. From about 150 to 225 though, he's really struggling so far this year with that stat. I'm not really sure exactly why that's the case. That's probably why the fact that, we've seen JT have kind of swoons with his putter before. But I mean, the fact that his longer irons aren't really firing so far this year, I mean, that's kind of a death knell at this place, especially if it's going to play really long. It's going to be really cold. The ball's not going to roll out very far. He's got still some distance off the tee. Like, even though it's not as far as what he used to hit, he's still the 11th farthest hitter in driving distance so far this year on the PGA Tour in this field. The fact that his long irons kind of haven't been firing, I mean, that's kind of concerning. But, I mean, he hasn't had, I haven't heard his name at all. We really talked about, today. I mean, I think his ownership right now is fairly high. I'm not even really sure if I believe that, as far as just because it just seems like he's got no buzz. Like I so far this year, he's really got that 4th place finish at Phoenix where, he never really was in the mix. Right. He was in the mix at API and blew it on Sunday. So I don't know. It's I want to kind of buy it. I've been trying to rack my brain today as far as all right, where can I buy into a world of, JT? And I mean, once I saw kind of the long iron numbers haven't really been firing, I don't know. That kind of spooked me off a little bit.
Yeah, I think it should. So when I won my GPP here, it was in 2020 when he was on the team and he finished 4th, right? It was his best finish. It's when the course was, again, super soft, right? Scoring was low. We're not going to see that this time around. Yep. I do think it helps that he has bones on the bag. They finished 8th last year. Certainly cannot overrate that course history. However, I also think that with the added length and the conditions, I think he's going to have to hit driver here more than he would probably like. Like when we see him play his best, he's hitting a lot of 3-woods off the tees and 5-woods and hybrids and things like that. He's going to have to hit a lot more drivers here, and I think that could be bad. And he's putting terribly.
That's the understatement.
I don't know how you can hide that. I mean, you have to scramble, you have to putt here, and he's putting as bad as I've ever seen him putt.
Yeah. I think the only other question I have in this range for you, Ryan, is, we mentioned Kyle Moore, how maybe he's going to be chalk. I mean, there's some pretty red flags on him and his profile this week, as far as what we're expecting about this golf course. We're talking about how you got to be really long this week. I mean, you always got to be really, long hitters have a lot of, advantage at the Masters. He's by far the shortest in this range. I think he's only averaging about 293 off the box this year. The short game, while it's been improved, he's actually positive, so far since January 1st. It's still not really where it needs to be as far as like a guy who typically does well here. And, the putting has kind of got bad again. So I guess is the fact that he's so elite with his long irons, is that maybe enough to overcome some of these issues? Or do you think maybe in this particular Masters where, the last couple of years didn't get as much rainfall or, with the rollout of the fairways, that kind of suited to his skill sets. Do you think maybe this type of setup might get him this year?
I do. Yeah. And again, if he's going to be popular, I think it's a very easy stay away because, again, and I mean, we're just guessing on this forecast, but if it is soft and if it's raining, I definitely don't think it's going to be the right course setup for him.
I would agree with that.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't we take another break, and then why don't we break down the rest of the tiers?
All right. Well, listen now, like I said off the jump, man, listen, we're giving away a TaylorMade Stealth 2. The contest is completely free to enter, and you have a chance to win a great goddamn driver. The drawing will take place on Sunday, April 8th. So make sure to get in by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/driver. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/driver.
Okay. All right. Let's go down the $8,000 range.
Real quick. Spieth, yes or no?
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I need his opinion on it. Like, is he a free square?
I mean, in a vacuum, yes. But I think, like you said, if the chalk start's going to be Rory Spieth, right, and I'm probably going to play Rory or Rahm, then I'm just not going to be able to play Spieth. Hit it. No.
Okay, all right, like it.
Okay. All right, $8,000 range. So, we already talked about a little bit about Dustin Johnson. I guess where else do you think some of the chalk is going to be down in this range?
Jason Day.
Yeah. I mean, I have no idea, but I feel like Day and Finau have to be popular.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm also waiting on that Finau number to drift, and I'm starting to get the feeling like it's not drifting.
Yeah, I think it's going the other way.
I did see some people bet the 22s today, and I was hoping we'd get a 3. So, and then you had Matsuyama played well last week. Burns just won. You got the Zalatoris record. Cam Young was good. So, I think it's going to be fairly spread here. In terms of guys that are not going to be owned, I don't think Fitz is going to be owned at all.
No.
Even though it's a great price. And honestly, I don't think Dustin Johnson is going to be owned relative to where he should be. Like, if I told you that he was 8,800 at the Masters, right. I mean, when he was 9,401, he was 40% owned that week.
Right.
Yeah. Like, he should be 25% owned this week, but he's not going to be half of that. So,
yeah, no. I mean, that's a great point considering. I mean, Xander's at $9,000. You have Finau 89, Jason at 87. So yeah, he's kind of sandwiched between a lot of really popular names where, maybe some people haven't been really paying attention to what's been going on with Liv. They're like, okay, well, I'm just going to break the tie and play the guys I have seen versus a guy that's been playing basically in a cow pasture for the last 2 months or so. So, I mean, I think of Finau and Day. I think I prefer Finau just because of how good the iron numbers are. I'm a little concerned about how his around the green game has kind of been slipping a little bit over the last few terms. Like, that was really rock solid for a while. And up until about maybe about a month ago, I was like, all right, I'm just going to automatically bet Finau. And ever since I kind of saw that around the green game kind of slip a little bit, I'm like, do I really want to go there? I think I'm going to make an excuse for him that maybe because he went to Florida and a little bit on, some Bermuda, maybe that wasn't quite as good for him. So maybe get him on the rye overseed. Maybe he'll do a little better. I mean, he won at Memorial Park. They had a lot of tight lies around the green, and I know he can chip very well here. So I guess of the chalky options, I think I like Finau definitely the best of these guys.
I like Finau better than Day, but I'm never a Day guy, and I hate all the steam and I hate all these assholes on Twitter who got him at like 120 to 1, and they're like touting this fucking ticket. And I'm like, go fuck yourself. I hope you lose.
It'll look good on a fridge one day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So
closing line value, buddy. That's
man, gotta get that fucking CLV for golf outrights.
Yep. They've already won the tournament based on that.
That's
right. Yes.
Fucking worse. So. This rate, like I'm 100% out on Will Z. His swing change is clearly fucking with him, and I can't stand watching him putt. Anyway, I know he can putt well here, but it's not worth the stress in my life. I got enough of it. I don't need to fucking have a Will Z ticket while he's injured, going through his swing change, and he has that insane putting stroke. Burns hasn't got talked about at all. I just don't know if I can get there. He's the leverage spot, right? Would you agree? He's probably the leverage spot here.
I mean, yeah, Burns and Fitz will probably be the two lowest owned. I mean, if there's two things that you need here, you have to keep the ball in play and you have to be really good with your irons.
No.
And he's been bad at both. Like even at the match play, like it was a lot of putting, as it sometimes is. Yeah. And I don't have any interest
I'm with
Burns at this price.
Okay. So
I mean, Scotty missed the
I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying Scotty missed a 4-foot bunny for Burns to even be able to take it there. Like Scotty should have buried that. I think it was literally 4 feet away and he missed it.
Well, thank you, Scotty, for not hitting that.
Yeah, I know you cashed the ticket. Congratulations. Go fuck
yourself. So a guy I'm actually really interested in this week is Cam Young, just because of how, I've seen him before on a golf course that got a lot of rain, a lot of cold temperatures, and he finished very well. That was at TPC Potomac last year. It kind of turned into a bomber's paradise at that point. So, I mean, didn't have a good showing last year at the Masters, but, good showing at Southern Hills, tight lies around the green. There's a lot of Augusta National comps there. Obviously, good showing at St. Andrews. There's a good crossover between guys who do well at Augusta, guys who do well at St. Andrews. And the fact he's so long this week, and if it really is a waterlogged golf course, is that going to have an advantage? So, do you have any concerns at all about the fact that, kind of like with Kyle Morikawa, struggling a little bit around the green, the putter has been really balky? Or do you think the fact that just he possesses such an ace in the hole with his distance, do you think that's going to be enough for really another good, strong major finish?
It's tough because, the last thing that you remember is how many birdies he just made at match play, but completely different golf course, completely different format. I was impressed at how well he played, at the Open Championship last year in a type of golf course and format that I wouldn't have necessarily thought he played well at.
Correct.
I do have some concerns here, though. I just think he doesn't have the experience. Doesn't strike me as a playing well in the Southeast type of guy. He's kind of popped up all over the place, but I don't know what's his best finish in Florida or in the Southeast in general.
He finished, I think, top 10 at Bay Hill.
Yeah, he was 23rd at the CJ Cup. It just doesn't quite feel right. And now again, I could be wrong on the ownership. I feel like he is going to be popular, more than like Victor Hovland here, more than Will Zalatoris, probably more than Hideki as well. So I definitely have no problem fading him if the ownership gets up there.
So speaking of Vic, you posted a funny Twitter. I don't believe you. After he came out today and said he was at a practice round and everything is working really well around the green. I don't believe him either, but he does score well for DraftKings purposes. And he's almost a lock to outscore his finishing position, right? I think he's got a couple top 20s here, but he scores in bunches. He's just, I don't know, I like him much better in DK than an outright bet.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that. I think he should be focused more on trying to hit more greens and not really work on his short game.
Right. Yeah, that would be good. He's a good putter, and he should putt well here too.
Yeah, I think he's a fine putter, but again, he could definitely get in some trouble. And you miss some spots here, and for him, it's an auto bogey, and you can turn some into doubles, right? Yeah. And again, he's played okay here, but what's his best finish is 21st in 3 attempts.
Yeah, I think that was as an amateur as well. It was that.
Yeah, I think he'll do better than that maybe, but if he finishes 18th, right? I don't need him.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Fair enough.
I'm so scarred for seeing him on the practice green or practice bunker last year with my dad. I'm just like, who the hell is this bum? And I think at that moment I said, I am never betting another guy who who doesn't have a short game at this place.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw the deep blue numbers on his around the green, I'm like, you know what? I'll let somebody have him.
Exactly.
So, all right. So $7,000 range. Now we're getting to, a territory where
Make or break.
Make or break. You got chalk, you got contrarian, you got some live guys down here. So I guess why don't we just start, right at the top there, so besides Corey Connors, where's the chalk down here?
That
is, all right. So let me pull up kind of the names that I had starred here, but
it looks like Rose is the second highest owned right now outside of Corey Connors.
That would not surprise me. So I think both of them are going to be by far the highest. I think Fleetwood is still going to garner some ownership.
Absolutely. Especially bad weather.
You get the bad weather. I think Hatton will surprisingly be under-owned just because of one short video of him saying he hates this golf course.
Listen, as somebody who bets Hatton constantly, okay, and has lost a shit ton of money on Hatton and loves Hatton. I do. I love him. He lost a fucking head-to-head matchup against Billy Horschel on Friday last year because he didn't give a fuck and he wanted to get out of there because the golf course was unfair. I would never Hatton for me here. Never.
No, but I think, look, if I told you 3 weeks ago that he was going to be under 8K at the Masters and not very popular, you would have thought I was crazy, right? Everyone was rushing to bet him at like 12-1 at Valero.
Well, those people were stupid.
Yeah.
They're stupid.
The only other one here, so I guess we could talk about Brooks a little bit. I don't think he's going to be as popular as maybe our little bubble thinks. Yeah, exactly. If he's 7%, maybe that feels about right.
Yep.
I'm very interested in the ownership on Minwoo Lee, right? This is
hell yeah,
guy,
let's go.
Right. Everybody has kind of, I've been watching this guy for half a decade now, but like everyone is now on. He finished 14th here last year and probably should have been better. On the weekend,
Thursday, right?
Yeah, and the final round he shot 6 under on the front, and then he sort of sputtered out after that. But I think it's a good, fair price for him. He's not cheap by any means, and there's a lot of really good names around him. But I mean, how good has he been playing?
Oh, dude, I love Minwoo. I was actually surprised how high his ownership was. I thought like just looking today. I mean, he's 12. I was like, God damn it, man! I thought we'd get him at under 10.
He won't be 12.
I figured, no, you think he's going to come down?
Yeah.
Okay, because he's right underneath Connors. Brooks will get the bump. Lazy people who don't watch golf anymore will come in and play it. We'll click on Adam Scott and Bryson.
And they're going to click on Tiger Woods.
Oh, the click on Tiger Woods. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I didn't even think about that.
I might click on Tiger Woods too.
No, are you really going to play Tiger?
I mean, he was so good at Riv. Looked good, played well on a course that he sucks at. I mean, and if the conditions are tough here and you don't need to make 25 birdies, absolutely I will play him,
And he was long as fuck. What happened? He's definitely on roids, right? Like, what is happening? All of a sudden, he's out driving these guys.
He looks big and fit. Look, if the winning score this week is going to be like 8 under or 9 under, Tiger can finish 8th or 10th very, very easily this week.
I hate you so much. Why would you?
We're in. I'm going to see how I feel after this, but I may bet him.
Stop it.
We can get places now or top 10.
I was talking to our producer. What day is today? Is today Tuesday?
Yeah, today's Tuesday.
All right. So yesterday, I was talking to my producer yesterday, and he's like, I'm going to start taking my Tiger to make the cut bets. I was like, dude, he's making the cut. I was like, don't take action from your friends on that. You're going to owe them money.
He's 100% making the cut. Yeah,
100% making the cut.
Yeah.
So you would actually consider betting him outright?
With places, right? Or if you would rather bet a top 10 or something 5 on him, right? Okay. Like he's so on Bet Rivers, if you can get action there, you can get him at 70 and they're giving 7 places. So you can get paid on a top 7. Like can Tiger Woods finish 7th here? Yeah, I think he can,
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Or even like, I bet you can probably get over 2-1 on like a top 20 for him.
Yeah. So, and most of these sites boost his made cut this week too. You could probably get him like even money or something. So,
you know what I saw that actually was interesting. If we're talking about Tiger Woods props. So I saw what's going to happen first if he's making a bogey or a birdie. And Thursday looks like it's going to be pretty benign scoring and really warm too. So the fact that if he just survived getting a par on number 1 and then get the birdie on number 2 there, I can get like plus 130 on that.
I don't hate that.
That's something you might be hearing about tomorrow on our.
Tiger loves making bogey on the first hole, though.
I know he does. He
does.
does. He's just got to survive that first hole, though.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So that is fucking. God damn it, Ryan.
Do it.
Fine.
Join
now
me.
I gotta fucking. I know. I will. God damn it.
All right.
Like a top 10 bet or something.
All right. Why don't we shift back to DFS here? So I guess what are some maybe some lower owned projected guys that kind of pique your interest this week?
Yeah. Well, so I think we can go to the live guys now, right? They're all sort of bunched in here. Like all of them seem okay, except for Bryson. Like I would not play Bryson, but I mean, Amster. He's been okay, won in Saudi, hasn't really been that good since, but obviously played really well here in 2020 when DJ won. Louis always plays well here. Patrick Reed's been sneaky good. I think again for Reed, it's going to depend on course conditions.
It depends on what Justine lets him do.
I mean, if the course is soft and things like that, like probably no Patrick Reed for me. I love Mito again, and I think they're all going to be low owned because who's right below them? It's Kirk, Mitchell, and Kitayama.
Do you think Kitayama's going to get ownership?
I mean, more than the live guys. Yeah. Not as much as I would say Mitchell, I would assume is the highest owned one there. And then probably Kirk right after him. So,
okay. Cause I was looking forward to hopefully playing a lower owned Kitayama, especially if it's going to be bad weather.
I think, I mean, he's going to be lower than Mitchell and Kirk.
Okay.
Yeah. He plays well in the wind too. Both of his wins over in Europe were sort of coastal seaside courses, very, very windy. Obviously Bay Hill was super windy and tough when he won there. So I could get behind some Kitayama here.
Yeah, okay. I think if I'm like what I'm kind of targeting down here is guys with some length, guys that have been hitting their longer irons pretty well, and guys in kind of scramble. And like I mean, Keith Mitchell definitely can do that. His proximity numbers and scoring numbers from 150 to 225 look pretty good this year. Same thing with Kitayama. Both of these guys are in the positive with around the green. So I mean that's kind of like I'm definitely breaking ties between guys who just are bunters out there and guys who can just get it out there. So I mean, even it's too bad they're drawing a little bit of ownership, but Keith Mitchell and Kitayama are definitely two guys I like. And I don't really mind Reed either. With some of the rain, it is going to be a little, windy over the weekend too. If this is a situation where guys are missing a lot of greens, I trust him just getting up and down everywhere. I watched a lot. I suffer through watching Live last week just because I wanted a little bit of scouting report. He looked pretty good. He got up and down from some pretty gnarly places around some of the really poor turf conditions at that place. So I think he's ready. And like, I guess if you want to just play like narrative street, I mean, I can see him just being kind of pissed off about what's been going on and, good finish here. So
what do we think of Taylor Moore?
I mean, debutante. I don't know. I always kind of stay away from them.
I know.
And we play a lot of Taylor. I'm sure you guys do too, but we play a lot of Taylor Moore. He's just super inconsistent. So
I know. He's on my year-long fantasy team.
There you go. I think that's the right format for him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah. So top. Well, that's a betting show. Never mind. I'll skip the question.
All right, maybe last guy. You got Tom Kim down here, $7,700. Everybody loved him, and now everybody hates him. It seems like. I mean, can he do a Zach Johnson impersonation of just bunting his way around Augusta National for a good finish, or do you think even now it's way too long for?
I mean, I think so. I mean, he obviously hasn't been great, but it's not like he's been bad, right? Yeah. He's taken a little step back from winning every other event last year like he was doing. I still believe in him sort of long term. I think the harder course conditions would help him, even if it's soft. I just think, he's not going to go out there and make 25 birdies this week at all. No. And the added length on both the back nine par fives, I think will help him because it will kind of force him to lay up and it's going to force others to lay up as well. And I don't think distance will be quite as important this week. So is he going to win? No. Is he going to top 10? Probably not. But I could see him, probably easily making the top 20 here.
Did you see the skipping video today where he completely missed the assignment and shot it at the green instead of skipping it across the water?
Yes, they all kind of sucked on that one.
Yeah, it was not great.
Yeah. All right, I think we did a pretty good job with the $7,000. Why don't we move into the sixes where good luck going down here. But
Listen,
there's a couple of names that I
lots of
definitely
goodness
good
here.
plays down here.
Yeah.
Lots of goodness.
All right, so I guess why don't we start right at the top with I think the question that everybody wants to answer from Ryan here. Ryan Fox or Adrian Moronk? Which one are you picking out of those two?
I thought you were going to throw Gary Woodland.
No, that's
DMs
later.
About Gary
that's
Woodland.
later, and we know you're going to bet him. And we know.
Yeah, I mean, of those two, I guess I just trust Fox a little bit more. They both hit the ball a country mile. Moronk is a slightly better putter, but neither of them are very good. Fox is a much better long iron player and really just irons in general. So I think, I would just trust him more. I don't love them. I don't know. It's a tough range. I still want to play Bubba. I probably won't. He's been terrible, right? But he loves this golf course. He hits it far. I could see him just hanging around a little bit this week, but probably not going to get there. But the one that I really, really like, and I'm probably going to play quite a bit of this week, is Danny Willett.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think the entire narrative around him this year would be very different if Max Homa didn't steal his soul in the very first event of the year. But I mean, he's been solid all year, both in Europe and here. Should have won that event, right? Still a second, still a very good finish, obviously, and been making a lot of cuts, been around the top 25 or 30, and really, really likes this golf course. Obviously won here. Spieth should have won that year, but he played really well here last year. He led for a couple rounds. He was up near the lead. So for 6,600, I like Danny Willett quite a bit here.
Yeah, there's a lot to like about Danny Willett this week. The iron play's been really good. He's excellent around the green. The putter's been working for him. So yeah, I mean, he doesn't hold a lot of length, but the fact that if he does miss a green, he can get up and down from here. That's one of the guys I definitely started down here. Danny Willett, $6,600. I like that a lot.
So I like Danny too, and I texted you about him last night. So you don't like Schwartzel at all?
Who likes Schwartzel?
Man, I like Schwartzel. Why don't you like Schwartzel? He fucking top 10 here. He's playing good on live. He has a great course.
No, he's not anymore.
He's old and terrible. I don't know.
Yeah, I got him.
I'm gonna clip this.
He lost 10 strokes at Tucson. He lost 3 at Mayakoba. Lost 2.5 at Oman. Yeah, he's not playing.
Oman. I've been to Oman. It's impressively hot. Nobody can fucking golf there. It's miserable.
Yeah, I want to catch guys who are on the up and up, like a guy like Kitayama, right? Who was nowhere near this level last year. He's
nowhere close. Yeah.
Sort of. So I kind of feel the same way about Adam Svensson.
Okay.
He's just a much better golfer than he's ever been. And he's got the skill set where he hits so many fairways and so many iron shots close to the hole, just like you see with Corey Connors here. He's also not a great putter, but if you're just
a debutant too, isn't he?
Yeah, but if you're hitting every iron close and hitting most of your fairways, I could see Svensson being the guy who's like, oh, Adam Svensson's in 4th going into Sunday. That's weird. I could I could completely see that.
All right.
And then I'm going to steal one here. I think you're going to start to hear a lot about Gordon Sargent this week.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I already started hearing.
So all the odds came out. I think DraftKings had his top 20 at 16-1. I missed that one. I got a 10 on it, but Data Golf put their stuff out and had him at 5. So all of the numbers plummeted. So he is by far the best amateur right now, not just in this field, but in the country. He's got a handful of wins this year. Hits the ball a country mile. He won the NCAAs last year as a freshman at Vanderbilt. He has played this golf course before, so I found that interesting. And
I can still get a 16 right now.
Do it. Where is that?
I'm doing it right now. A local
on the top 20.
Yeah, top 20, 16-1.
Yeah.
Yep,
take that.
He's
so a lot of sites have him down to 5 or 550 now.
Beautiful.
He is very, very good. Yes. And he is 6,100, which pretty much allows you to do whatever you want. If you want to jam Rory plus Scotty, you can. Or if you want to do a Scotty and still get Finau and Xander, you can get all 3 of them if you're playing somebody down here. So
okay. All right. I think there's only other one.
So all right. So, wait, I got to ask him about Woodland. I know he wants to talk about Woodland. Let him talk about Woodland for 2 minutes, and then we'll all make fun of him on Friday when he
I am off. I'm off Woodland this week. Obviously, there's no issue with the ball striking, as we know, one of the best ball strikers in this field. But he's played this golf course enough times and enough times poorly that I really don't need to see any more than that.
Okay. Look at you.
Save him for LACC. I've got a 150 on him there, and yes, that'll be better.
I was about to say I was proud for your restraint, and then you tell me you already have a future.
All right, let's close out the show with the DFS section with a bang. Taylor Gooch. Let's talk about him for a second. So look, it's kind of hard to figure out what these live guys have been doing because there's stats over there. I mean, the results been kind of solid, not really spectacular, but he's just kind of been hanging around. And when we last got data on him, I mean, he was a good iron player, good around the green, fairly good putter on bent, and a good finish on at the Masters last year. Is that a guy maybe you could be seeing using this week?
I just hate Taylor Gooch.
All right.
But yes, he is very, very fairly priced for who he is. And what did he finish? I think was he 15th or 14th last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that, yeah.
So and if he's around the top 20 again, I would not be surprised at all. I think there's more upside with some other guys down here.
What about? All right, we're not closing that. We need to ask about Scam Champ. Scam Champ, baby.
Oh God.
I forgot that he was in the field because he keeps top 12ing this event somehow.
Yeah, it's insane.
That was the worst sweat of my life with that guy, man. He made a triple on 4, the par 3.
Yep.
And then made a quad on 12, both on Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah, nice Sunday he had.
Yeah,
but he also made 8 birdies. But Champ has been so bad. I mean, I think we've seen 1 or 2 decent iron rounds out of him, but no full events. So I think it ends for him this year.
Yeah. So set I've been using. I like to combine approach and around the green, metrics just to see how they're doing. He's by far the worst in the field, losing 1.3 strokes per round combined around the green and with the irons.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's usually not a recipe for success.
Listen, he was
just
as bad coming in last year. I can get 5-1 for a fucking top 20, and I'm 100% betting it.
Put more of that on Gordon Sargent, please.
Listen, they don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Because last year I did this. I talked myself out of it in DFS. I split it. I can't remember what other bum I chose. So there's no way Cam Champ blows. I don't care what his course record is here or history is. I ended up splitting it. The other asshole missed the fucking cut and ruined my lineups. And the lineups that I had with Champ, if I had just stuck with my guns and stuck all Scam Champ in there, I would have had a fucking really good DFS weekend. But no, I was a pussy. And I diversified.
All right, Ryan. Well, we close out the DFS portion of the show. So have you bet anybody outright this week?
Yes, John Rahm 10-1. That's it so far.
Okay, single bullet.
Who are you looking for?
So I was looking for Finau and Xander. So hopefully we do get some. I think Xander might drift a little bit.
Xander's definitely drifting.
It sounds like Finau's not going to. And so I might just bet Tiger. Honestly, it's fun. I'll take some places with it. If I bet him, I don't have to play him in DFS, and I would prefer not to.
Fair.
So yeah,
that's fair.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to join you on the outright, but I might do a top 10.
Yeah,
you sold me a little bit on it.
Yeah, do something to root for Tiger. It's always good to have something like that in your.
He just shot 67 at Riv, a course that he sucks at. That's something.
Yeah, and you know what? That Riviera is not an easy walk either. Nope. So I watched Tiger last year. I was at the Masters, and he just looked gassed at the end of it. But the fact that he actually was able to get through 4 rounds of Riv, looked relatively fresh coming out of it. That leg must be feeling a lot better than last year. So I'm not worried about him walking up and down the hills of Augusta National here. So
he probably has a press conference tomorrow, right? I would imagine.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I would imagine his day is tomorrow. So yeah, we'll get some more information there tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Well, Ryan, thank you for joining us on the show. Why don't you tell us where we can find you?
All over the place. Been doing a lot of pods of late. Find me at Baroff427 on Twitter. DMs are always open, and let's have a week, boys.
Are you ever going back on Wiley's fucking thing?
He's just doing his thing right now. We have a group chat, so we basically do a pod all day long, all together for ourselves.
Well, we'll share it with the fucking people, man. Wiley solos are funny, but I liked it better when you 3 guys were on it.
Yeah, no, we will do it again soon for sure.
All right, fair enough. All right, Steve, you got anything else, buddy?
No, that's it. We got Pamela Maldonado of Yahoo Sports coming on tomorrow, so we'll close out Masters Week with our betting cards.
Let's go. Yeah. Other than that, you guys know where to find me on Twitter at Boston_Cap, or find Steve in the Discord. We're giving away a stealth driver, you lazy shits. Just go do whatever it is you need to do. It's free. You got to click like 3 buttons and upload something. It's a fucking stealth driver. Stop being lazy. Stop being bad humans. We do this shit for free all the time. Stop being bad humans. Go do what we ask and go. That's it. Let's go. Masters Week. Let's go.